am she that knows that love I deserve. As people, we put walls up because we are afraid of getting hurt. As people, we put our hearts on ice because we've been hurt by our past. Not necessarily always a relationship of love. It's been a family member, a friend, or just being disappointed by life, period. I am she that went on dates alone to understand me. I am she that understands my power. I am she.
Hello. I thank everybody for tuning into Testimonial Tuesday. I know it's been a while. We've been on like a little vacation, but we are back and we are here with me. I am Sheena, the author of The Mask Behind the Mask and Unveil the Broken Pieces of the Mask. We have my co-host Lyrica in the building.
Hey guys.
Hey. Say welcome back and happy belated birthday, girl.
Aw, thank you.
Everybody, please put happy birthday to Lyrica, please. She has had this big old birthday. She was turned up in New Orleans, and I wish I was with her, but it is a blessing to have her back, and we love her. And today we have our awesome guest in the building, Miss Flo Free. Yes, she's in the building. And as always, we like to welcome everybody for tuning into Testimonial Tuesdays, where we are here to inspire, empower, and motivate. So today, Miss Flo, can you tell them who you are and where you from first?
I am Florencia Freeman. My pen name is Free Flo. With my writing, I'm from Louisiana, but I currently live in Texas. And I'm just happy to be here and just have the opportunity to share my testimony. Hopefully somebody's inspired.
And we're happy to have you. It is always awesome to have these beautiful guests come in and be able to bless us with all this inspiration and things that they've been through. So we may as well just get right into it and just tell us your testimony.
Okay. Before I start, I wanted to say that I've shared my testimony before, but at the point in my life where I'm at now, it's from a different perspective. When I've shared it before, it was always as a victim because I didn't understand why the things were happening. But now that I'm to that greater later part where God is, redeeming me from all of that, I'm telling it with confidence instead of, feeling small. And just hopefully somebody can see that everything that happens in your life, no matter how bad, no matter how young, all of it at some point will connect and it'll make sense. And that's where I'm at now. So my story started when I was a kid. My childhood was a little rocky. I was a victim of sexual abuse. I was molested. I was raped. And so when those things happened, I kind of got the mentality that my body was not mine, that it was just something for people to use or to play with. And I struggled with self-esteem. And I would say around middle school is when I started having suicidal thoughts, and I attempted suicide. At the time, I'm a kid, so I'm thinking this bottle of Tylenol is going to do something because I saw it on TV, but it didn't do anything. Thank God I survived. But when I survived, I realized that I didn't really want to die. I just wanted the pain to stop. And so I started cutting and just doing things that would, in my mind, create pain to release other pain. At the time, it made sense. So I just started cutting my arms. I started cutting my hands. And I even started pulling my hair out. And to me, it was taking my mind off of the things that were going on. I don't know about when I stopped doing that, but right after that period, I entered an even darker period where I was just angry and I just wanted to fight everybody and just waiting for a reason to be able to take out all of my frustration. I used to carry knives.
Oh, you was violent, huh?
I was. And some people thought it was hood, some people
Yeah,
thought it was psycho, but it was me. Like, I was in pain,
yeah,
and I didn't want to just go hurt anybody, but if someone hurt me, then you were going to feel everything that I had been through up until that point. And at the time, that's how I felt. I was I'm still intelligent, but I was always good in school, always good
hmm,
grades. So that part I never struggled with, but I was one of those silent sufferers. So, my teachers, they never thought that anything was wrong. I was just a quiet kid in class. I did my work. I was respectful. So they didn't have to worry about me. Um, I graduated. Uh, I had stopped doing the self mutilation. I was still going through depression. I was being promiscuous because, like I said, I had the mentality that my body was not mine. There were guys that I had crushes on, but to me, they wouldn't like me. So the only thing we could do is have sex. Sex was not something that was enjoyable for me. It was just something that I felt like I had to do if I wanted to be around a guy.
right,
And about 17, 18, ecstasy pills were extremely popular in Baton Rouge. Well, everywhere probably, but I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at the time. And so here's another outlet for me. So I had
hmm,
stopped the cutting, I had stopped the suicide attempts. I had started writing, but then I stopped. And so once I started popping ecstasy, it was like, okay, I don't have to feel this stuff. I don't have to deal with it. And it got to a point where I was taking those pills daily just so that I could, you know, think about being anywhere but where I was. And it wasn't until I ended up, I got shot at, not
mm,
intentionally, but
okay,
with the wrong people, and they
right,
did some foolishness, and they got shot at, and I ended up running for my life. And
got you.
um, I survived that, and I eventually I stopped taking the ecstasy pills, and I still had the self-esteem issues. I was still searching for some type of love and attention, and I met my ex-husband. And so when he saw me, he paid attention to me. He wasn't asking for sex or anything like that. So I felt like, okay, this is it. All this pain, this is gonna be my happy moment. But I didn't realize that he saw how broken I was.
Mm.
So he saw an opportunity. He saw that he could manipulate. Um, and so we were together for about 10 years. And people, I'm sorry.
It's all right, honey. Lyrica, while she's taking a break, you want to talk about how your trip went? Oh, she's back.
Sure. Oh,
I'm
okay.
Oh, she's back.
No, it's okay.
She's back. You all
Oh
right?
my goodness. They think because I'm in the
Listen,
room that is
but
just the secret.
it's okay. Listen, we know you a parent. It's okay. It's natural.
Yes.
It's motherhood. This is real TV. Testimonial
Right.
Tuesday. Real TV.
Yes,
Real
She's a
life.
parent, guys. Real life. There you go. You
this is
all right?
us.
That's it.
Where was I?
You
Uh,
was talking about I think
my
you
ex-husband.
Your
your ex-husband,
ex-husband.
yes. And you met him and
No.
he was paying you some attention.
Yes, and so people used to ask me at the time why I was dealing with all that abuse and just the physical, mental, emotional, psychological. And I now noticed that there was a pattern just from the
Hmm.
self harm, the suicidal attempts, the masking, all that stuff. And at this point, while I was with him, it was he was abusing me. I knew it was wrong, but I somehow had convinced myself that I deserved it because of the things that I had gone through in life. Because
Mhm.
just from that moment of sexual abuse, I felt dirty and
Yeah.
hadn't felt clean since then. So why should I tell him to stop doing what he's doing to me? Um, I'm not worthy anyway, and that's what I was telling myself. Um,
Mhm.
I finally got to a point where I realized that I needed to leave, and I talked about that on the surviving domestic violence last week, I think.
Let
But
loose and be free.
yes, let loose and be free. And so once I ended up getting out of that relationship, I started doing self work. And so I had to go back all the way to that sexual abuse because whether or not I want to admit it, that started
Right.
everything.
Right.
It started the strongholds in my mind. And so I've been working on breaking them. And I realized how all of that was connected to, the decisions I made, things that, running away from it. I was running away from my past when I met my ex husband. So he seemed like a present. He seemed
Mhm.
like this great thing that was coming into my life, but really he was just another drug,
Right.
another outlet. But writing saved my life.
Yeah.
God and writing, because my imagination, it just, when you have a rough childhood, you
Yeah.
kind of try to find a way to deal with certain things. And for me, I lived inside my head, and so I would create these stories. And so I started writing how I felt, and I started doing it more as I got older, and it helped me deal with what I was feeling. It helped me to heal. Um, and it's even helped me connect with other people who have helped me heal. And so now I'm at a point in my life where I'm doing that soul work, releasing the strongholds that I didn't even realize were there, um, and just healing at all costs, because there's so many people that are going through what I went through. Uh, they went through it. I mean, I'm a teacher, so I've had students who have shared some things with me that they've gone through. And so I'm finally confident enough to share my story instead of feeling ashamed, because for a long time I felt ashamed.
Yeah.
I was ashamed that I was molested. I was ashamed of being raped. I somehow thought that I did something wrong, like I did something to deserve it. And
Right.
once I started being promiscuous and doing drugs, and I was even homeless at one point, I was embarrassed of those things. So all this shame and
Mhm.
guilt that I'm carrying for years, and just sad and wondering, like, God, why would you let all this stuff happen to me? And now I'm realizing God was always there.
Right.
Like, even with Job went through things, and all these things were, the devil was trying to break him.
Mhm.
And so it's
Yeah.
like the devil was trying to break me, but now it's like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yes, all this stuff happened, but you're not going to break me. And I'm at the point where it doesn't matter how much shame I feel on certain days, because some days I do still feel those things. But
Absolutely.
there are people that need to be saved. There are people
Yeah.
who need to know that these things happen. There are people that need to know somebody has gone through it. There are people
Mhm.
that need to know that that's not the end.
Mhm.
You need to live. Somebody needs you. Whether you
Yeah.
feel like it right now, somebody at some point, they need you.
Yeah.
And being in the school system, and another thing I question, I have all the schools I've worked at have been like in poverty stricken areas, just people going through it. And I'm like, I want to work at, one of these great schools that got all these smart kids with no problems. But that's not where God wanted me to be.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm, I get to see kids and I get to give them little nuggets, whether they listen to it now or later, just to let them know, hey, you're not alone.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, especially with the shame of sexual abuse, I don't even
Right.
know why we feel that way, but it's just, it's not your fault. It can't be your fault, but for some
Right.
reason you feel like it
Feel
is.
like it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then it's like you blame yourself.
Yes. Yes.
yeah.
And that be the shame of it because we're so blaming ourselves and wondering why did it happen to me or why me? Why, why did I have to go through this? Why did they have to touch me? But the
Mhm.
reason why is unfortunately you had to go through that to be able to do what you do now. Like you said, you are around kids that are telling you things. So now you're able to give them nuggets and encourage them
Yeah.
and show them the way on how to deal with it a lot better than how we went through it. Like it's like you said, you went through cutting and the promiscuous stage, and you're able to talk to these kids and hopefully they don't go down that cycle of what we've been down. So it was
Exactly.
a horrible thing, but it was a testimony to go to be able to do what you do now.
And
Yeah.
and and that's the beauty of just the way God works also is because he takes the ashes in our lives and creates
Yes.
something beautiful from it. I mean, I can attest to the things you're talking about as far as like I went through sexual abuse as a child as well. And being molested by my uncle and all the emotions. And as a child, it's very hard for you to process those things unless you have someone you can go to and talk to, and 9 times out of 10 most people don't, most kids don't, for
Right.
various reasons. And so it's very hard to process emotionally as a child anyway, let alone trauma as a child. And so we do tend to internalize and say, well, okay, there must be something wrong with me then. Why me? I mean, I went through that. Like, out of all my cousins, why was I the one who was chosen and picked out, and those type of things. So, I mean, the things you're talking about are true. But again, going back to what you said about the way you're able to reach and be so effective in what you do, even if it's not necessarily now, you planted that seed in those kids' lives that God will use other people to water down the road or whatever the case is and bear forth fruit in their lives. So there's a reason. And then the nature of choices. Like, this was a choice that was made by someone else that affected you. You had no choice in the matter, and that's the nature of choices. Choices don't just affect us, they affect everybody that we're connected to. And look how many people were affected by the choice of this perpetrator. You were
Right.
affected. Everybody around you was affected. You know what I mean? That's the nature of choice, and that's why it's so important about making right choices. But yeah, I mean, exactly what you're saying. But again, the beauty is you're such a beautiful rose in the midst of the darkness around. You're such a light in the midst of the darkness that you're around because you know what it's like to be broken. You know what it's like to have gone through those stages. Now you can help others.
Right. And still healing in other areas because, like like you said, with how it affects us, I didn't
Hmm.
realize how it affected me as a parent. Now, I I'm very protective of my children, like almost to the point of paranoia because
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm worried about those things. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
oh my
yeah,
goodness, I don't want them to leave my sight. Like, I don't
yeah.
care who it is.
I get it.
Right.
Yeah,
It sucks because it's hard to find a middle ground when all you can think about is how much you don't want your babies to feel any of that stuff. Like, I I know they'll go through things, but if I can do, if I got to keep them around me, then that's what I'll do. Even though I know I need a break, but I don't know. I get so paranoid sometimes, and it's hard.
I know what you're saying because my mom, she felt the same way with me. My mom was molested by her father,
Wow.
and her father molested her and her siblings. So the uncle that molested me was molested by his father. It's like a generational curse. And my mom was so paranoid about these things happening to her children because of what she went through. And when she found out what happened to me, she was so devastated because she felt like she failed as a parent. But I told my mom, I'm like, obviously you cannot be with your kids every waking minute of the day as much as you want to, as much as you try. But the one thing she did do, she gave me the tools to succeed, to overcome, and the fact of she talked about good touches and bad touches from when we were little. She talked about no matter what, I don't care if it's even my family, because see, she knew how her family was. Even if it's my family, it doesn't matter. You can tell me, I will believe you. Don't listen if someone says that I won't believe you or they're going to hurt us. Like, she talked to us about all these things. So once I realized, like, once it happened to me, I knew that I could tell and I would be okay. And a lot of times that's not the case. Their kids are not believed, or they're, pushed to the side, like they're scared because they're threatened. And I told my mom, I said, you made me know that it was okay to tell. And that was everything, because it wasn't something that was habitual. I had to keep going through over and over and over and over again because it was exposed as soon as I told, which 9 times out of 10, that's not the case. I have cousins now that were raped and molested by the same uncle that never told, and it kept happening. But my mom told me it was okay to tell. So I felt the same way. I don't have kids, but I have a younger brother who's 12 years younger than me that's like my child. And when he came on the scene, I was so paranoid about this happening to him. I was just like trying to be around him 24/7, because and I would pray all the time, God, please don't let this happen to him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did. He was molested by a teacher.
Um,
And
Wow.
but, again, going back to what we're talking about, talking about these things, these family secrets, it's hush hush. Don't tell, keep it in the family. No, expose it. Because how can something be corrected if it's not exposed? And this same uncle molested cousins, raped cousins way before me. But because no one told, here I go. It happened to me. You know what I
right.
mean? So
That's
once
the problem.
there you go. But once I told, he was exposed, so everybody in the family knew, okay, boom, watch out for this uncle because this is what's going on. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
That's
So
the
yeah.
thing I wish we could change, just not even just with black families, just that
Mhm.
toxicity of we don't want this family stuff to get out because of how it's gonna
Right.
look. But no one is going to truly heal if we sweep things under the rug.
Yes.
And at this point in my life, I'm gonna heal at all costs because my
Yep.
kids deserve a healed mother. Like I cannot,
Yeah.
like I'm breaking generational curses, strongholds, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I never want them to feel like they can't talk to me about anything. I told them whatever it is, tell me. I don't care who it is, brother, sister, cousin, auntie,
That's
whoever.
right.
If anybody makes you feel uncomfortable, you tell me.
That's
And
right. Exactly.
that's how I want it to be. Like kids need a safe space, whether it's with a
Mhm.
parent or whoever, just to be able to talk about it. Because if I
Yeah.
had talked about it, it wouldn't have gone on for 3 years.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
And I
Exactly.
wouldn't have held on to it for 20 more years after that.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. You're right. Absolutely right. You have to expose things in order to correct them. They cannot be corrected being hidden. You know what I mean? Like you said, going back to family secrets and not wanting, I had a talk with a family member of mine who I didn't realize it happened to her and her siblings. And some of them are like mentally unstable and just, turn to drugs, turn to all kinds of things just to mask the pain of what they were feeling. And
Mhm.
once she found out, what happened to me, now I've been talking about mine for years, but not everybody, knew.
Yeah.
But once she found out, she was like, like we all were like, we knew we weren't the only ones, because that's the thing. Everybody thinks, oh, it just happened to me, because no one's talking about it. No one's saying
Yeah.
anything. And so you leave that person free to victimize other people, other kids. And
Mhm.
that's exactly what happened. And one thing she said was that really hurt her was the adults in this situation, how they were more concerned about protecting the perpetrator than protecting us as kids. And because they didn't want it getting out because of how it would make the family look. And I told her, I said, you know what? That was wrong. As adults, they were wrong. Adults were supposed to protect children. They were supposed to protect us, and they didn't. They failed. But we don't have to let it keep going on. You know what I mean? We can break the cycle today. We can break this trend today. And so I have a piece called Silent No More, and I call his name out. Uncle Isaiah touched me. I talk about it. I have a book that I'm writing. I'm exposing it. I'm talking about it, because it's not until we expose the truth that other people can get free, that other people can get healed, just like you're talking about. It has to be exposed in order to be corrected, in order for people to get healed and delivered.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Amen.
And
Now,
even perpetrators, they need to heal whatever it is
Deliverance.
that
Exactly.
because
they
they
need
probably was touched
deliverance.
as well. So it's like it went from them
Yeah.
being touched to them
Just like
doing it to
my
someone
uncle.
else because it was something else happened to them. So it's just
Exactly.
that's what happened to them. So they just instead of healing from it, they just redo it to someone else.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely need to heal as well. And they don't need to suffer in silence because that's what it is. They suffer, so then they make someone else suffer, which then suffers, and then everybody else suffers. So it's just a trickle effect.
It's a cycle.
Yeah.
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 And it's a big misconception, and really not even a misconception. Is people, they understand how they want to understand. They want that incident to be limited to, okay, you got molested, it's over now, so get over it. That's another thing that just grinds my gears. Like that wasn't it. Yeah, it
You're right.
ended, but the psychological damage
Yes.
lasts for a
It's
long
still.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
people,
Absolutely.
they need to understand that it's not just over then. And I've
Mhm.
had people tell me, well, you should have said something. I mean, when you're a kid, if you don't have that safe space and somebody says, if you say something, I'm going to do this to you
Yeah.
gonna believe it. You're a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
looking back now, I'm like, you weren't really that gangster. So, but
Right. Right.
at the
But when
time,
you're young, you just think, "Oh God, he's gonna do this to me," or
yeah,
whatever, and it's like
Exactly.
you're not gonna say nothing. So
And
it's
they
the
know
fear that
that.
they put in
They
you.
know
Yeah,
that.
it's the
Yeah.
fear. They put the fear in you, and then you like, okay, so I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want this to happen. Or they'll tell you nobody's gonna believe you, and et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. So when you have these things in your head and you being young, you believe it. Then, like you said, when you get older, you be like, I could have told, ain't nothing gonna happen, but you know,
right.
And you can't looking back now as an adult, you as an adult cannot beat yourself up as a kid, because you were a kid, you were a child, you were innocent, you didn't have the understanding that you do 20 years later, or however long later. So you have to like give yourself that grace, because again, it wasn't your fault. There was
Right.
absolutely nothing that you did that warranted the trauma that you face. Absolutely nothing. It's because of the choices that other people have made that affect you. But it has nothing to do with you as an individual, you yourself. You were a child, and I had to learn the same thing. I was so hard on myself, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why am I beating myself up? I was a 10-year-old child. I should have been out playing whatever out in the yard. Like
playing with the
I
dirt.
right, exactly. Like I
Anything.
had nothing to do with the sickness of this person. That
Right.
was something that they had, and they forced upon me because of their own issues and everything else that was going on with them. But that had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? And so I think, sometimes we look back and we're like, "Dag, why did I do this? Why did I allow this?"
Mm-hmm.
But it's easy to say that now, 20 years later, but you have to understand your mindset and everything that was going on as a child. You know what I mean? So
that was hard. Like just not like I beat myself up for years, just feeling stupid. Like why didn't you say anything? Like, and I even had my ex husband told me because I shared everything with him. He was so
Mm-hmm.
manipulative. Manipulative. He was like, you didn't tell anybody. You must have enjoyed it.
Wait.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah, it
Wow. That's
yeah,
just that sounds just straight ignorant
it
from
is
the
yeah,
door,
ignorant,
right? That's
very
just
ignorant.
ignorant.
Mhm,
Like
very
what?
ignorant.
Like
Yeah.
because I ain't telling how. All right, praise the Lord.
right. Like I'm a child. Like what?
Yeah.
Can a child? No, a child cannot enjoy that.
No,
Right.
no, no, not at all, not at all. I mean, like I said, this subject, this subject is dear to my heart
I
because,
know. As soon as she started talking
girl,
about it,
I'm
I
like,
already knew. I was
oh,
like, yeah, she. I'm like, yep. I
no, I
listen.
do. I have a
Absolutely.
passion about this because of, again, when you experience something, and again, going back to what we were saying before, it's easy for people to talk who have not experienced the things that you've experienced.
Right.
And it's easy for people to commentate on the sidelines when they
Yes.
themselves have never been through the trauma itself. And so those kind of people, I just kind of dismiss because it's like you don't even understand, because I bet you if you were in the same situation, you would have a whole different outlook and a whole different opinion. You know what I
Right.
mean? And of course we know he's manipulative. He said those things really to hurt you.
Yep.
Mm,
And but going back to, what we were saying before, that, you're a child, and even the Bible says, Paul talks about, when I was a child, I acted like a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things.
childish things.
Because
Yes.
there is a certain, maturity that you have as you get older, or you should have once you get
Yeah.
older, that you don't
Should.
have as a kid,
You
because
heard
you
the
don't
key
right.
word. Should.
Should, girl, I
Should.
had to emphasize should, because some people, it's like you still a child, you ain't even put away childish things, you still acting like a child.
Right.
But
Listen.
there is a certain maturity that comes along with experience and age. You understand that you're innocent as a child. You don't have those same perceptions. That's just like expecting your 2-year-old to understand geometry. What?
Right.
Right.
Like they're two. Like they don't understand the concept of math just yet. You know what I mean? They can't grasp it. They haven't experienced and learned those things. Their mind has to develop, and that's how we have to look at it. Like we as kids, there are certain things that we weren't developed as mentally, emotionally, physically, anything for at that age. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's one of my passions too. Just sexual abuse, domestic violence, and just helping kids feel confident. Because that was another battle for me. I was the outcast. I was the weirdo. I didn't belong in any of the cliques. Like I
hmm
tried real hard. I didn't fit in with any of
Aw,
them. And so not fitting in made me feel even more like something
Right.
is wrong with me. I don't
yeah,
belong any of these places, but I have found my people now that I'm an adult. I found my fellow weirdos, as I call them. Like I found the people who think like me. And crazy thing
Right.
is, most of them are like y'all. Y'all are so far away. Nobody's close, like close
right.
proximity. It's like, golly, I finally
Yeah.
get people that understand, and they all the way across the world. But
But that's
just
all right. We giving you love from across the world, and we're gonna continue to be your support system.
Yeah.
Anytime you need something, we here. Listen, we only a text, a Zoom, a inbox
Yes.
away. Okay, we
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Amen.
And we know it can be hard because we still have those triggers and we still deal with these different things even as an adult stage. And like you said, you being a mom is it becomes a different situation, and you still you still carry these things, and like you said, you have to heal through it, and it's a process. It takes
It is
work.
a
It does
process.
not happen overnight. Many things that we have went through or have seen or that's been traumatizing to us, it is definitely not a walk in the park, and
Mm-mm.
people don't understand it unless they walk that path. And a lot of
yeah,
times, a lot of people that have not took the sexual assault, the domestic violence, the Any type of abuse, verbal, physical, emotional, spiritual, all the above. Anything traumatizing that may have happened in their life, nobody truly understands that walk. And
Right.
Mhm.
sometimes people have to understand they got to tread a little lightly because you never know what somebody been through. And that's where
Mhm.
my books came from, like The Mask Behind the Mask, because you never know truly what nobody's carrying behind a mask and what they deal with every day to get up and function on the daily to
That's
be here.
right.
Totally.
That's right.
And a lot of times we have to be a little more sensitive to people and how they're doing. And
Mhm.
sometimes we have to ask that question. We ask how you doing. And I've learned this being on Clubhouse. We might have to ask this, how your heart doing? Because then
Mhm.
it's the question, how you doing can be one thing and your heart can be doing something else.
Right.
Because
Mhm.
mentally with our mind is how you function and how you deliver and how things are going. Because mentally after being traumatized, you going through a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
we got to be cautious and, pray and love on people and
Yeah.
understand that everybody ain't okay because they've been through some things and
Right.
you don't know
Right.
what mask they're truly carrying. So,
Right.
girl, we here, darling.
Yes. People are so judgmental, but
Mhm.
I've found that some of them, if they had gone through even half of the things, they would have
Right.
lost their minds. Like, I'm
Yeah.
looking at it as a victor now. I'm
Yes,
still standing. I'm not
Amen.
in a crazy
absolutely.
house. Like, I'm not out there on crack. Yeah, I did my
Yeah.
drugs, but I thank God for whatever it is that He put in me to where I get tired of stuff quick if it's not the right thing. So I did my
Right,
little clubbing, and after a few months, I'm like, tired of the cigarettes burning my eyes. Like, this is not like whatever. I'm done with it.
Amen.
And I just, if we're not facing persecution, then we're probably not on the right path.
There you
right.
go.
And
There
that's
you go.
how I'm looking at things going
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And that's definitely
You know, we
necessary.
yeah, I mean, there's a real enemy out there, and he seeks to kill, steal, and destroy by any means necessary. He does not
Girl,
care. You
listen.
have purpose. God, God purposed you for greatness. God purposed you
Right,
for something, and He's always after to destroy you from keeping you from reaching that purpose and that destiny that God has for
Right.
you, keeping you from
And
touching the lives of so many other people.
that's why he attacked when I was a kid. And I even wrote a poem
Exactly.
in my poetry book. I have a section, I think it's called Letters to a Lost Girl or something like that. And
Mm,
when I went through this period of healing and just analyzing my life, I wrote a poem from the aspect of me looking at myself as a kid
mhm,
and knowing that God was in me, but then I started to doubt it when things started happening.
mhm,
And there was this figure, spirit, I don't know what it was, but it was dark. And I wrote the poem believing that it was at that moment that the devil was like, she's destined for greatness, so I'm about to shake her world up real quick. And it was
absolutely.
like after that moment, things started happening. After I saw
Mhm.
this dark figure and whatever it did in my room that night, things changed.
mm.
And
But
Oh, the
definitely,
babies.
the
Mhm.
baby wants something to drink. Mommy, can you open this?
Yes, mommy,
That's
open
that
that drink
mama
for that
like girl,
baby.
mama that drink girl. But
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's true,
yeah,
like we was saying before, like, the enemy knows, and he's
yeah,
always, again, he's very strategic. You know what I mean? He's
yes.
very strategic. So like she was talking about going after her as a child.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, I would if I was your
You
enemy.
know,
Because I know, okay, kids are innocent, kids are weak. Let me, attack. Let me do everything I can to try to clout the truth and try to destroy this person. But greater is He that is in us than he that is in this world. God is so much greater.
amen.
God is so much stronger. His plan is so much more efficient and effective. And regardless of all these things, God still had His hands on you, on me, on Sheena, on everybody watching. God still has His hands on us. And so I am just excited because, like you said,
listen.
you are an overcomer. You are
Yup.
not a victim of your past. You are a warrior. You are a child of God. You are an overcomer. You are strong. You are resilient. You are powerful. You are you. And greater things he has in store for you. Greater things. So,
Yes.
Absolutely. Also, can you tell us about your poetry book that you have since you brought it up? We go ahead and drop
yes.
that in there.
Oh,
So tell us about the poetry book, and then tell us what was the purpose and the message that you wrote that for. What do you expect people to get out of it?
so my poetry book is called Rejection, Revelations, and Reality.
Mm,
And I wrote it after I had left my ex-husband. Like, I was just analyzing everything. It was like 2 years of straight, what happened at this moment? Why did I do this? What made me make this decision? And so it's it's topics, different topics in the book. Some is anger, some is just me pouring my heart out, but it's different sections based on all of the emotions I was feeling at that time or leading up to that point. And that poetry book was me just getting it out raw. Like, I didn't want to sugarcoat it. Yes, there's some
right.
cursing in it, but I love the
Hey,
Lord.
listen. Amen.
But
Listen,
it,
you got
I,
to remember, we're not perfect. He's still working on us. So,
yes,
when you angry, those things may fly
yes,
out.
it
But
I had to
it,
get
it,
it. Yeah.
it had to come out.
And it had to come out the way that I was feeling it, because
Mm-hmm.
somebody is feeling these emotions and they're feeling like, okay, well, I must not be a Christian if I'm feeling like this, or oh, this is a sin or whatever. But it's okay to feel things. Like, I had to get it out. So emotions are not always going to be pretty.
Right.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's gonna be angry. There's some anger in there. There's a lot of pain in there. There's some poems about me just crying my eyes out to God. There's the section where I wrote looking at my childhood, how I saw it as a grown up looking back.
Mhm.
Some short stories, some songs that I wrote years
Mm,
ago, and I just
wow.
put it all together. And it's really just moments of me being rejected, just a bunch of revelations that I had during those couple of years when I was trying to work on myself, and me facing reality. And that's how I came up with the title.
Wow. Powerful.
It's a little
Yes.
bit of everything in there.
All right now. See, I'm gonna have to get that book. We're gonna have to put that on Front Street one day. But like, girl, come back and do us a reading with that thing.
Yes.
But
Send me your address. I'll send you one.
I'll send
Just
it to
for
you. Oh yeah,
inviting me
see.
on here.
Oh, listen, we about to really get it in for real. I'm gonna be in here like, girl, we got some words. We got words from free flow. Listen, we
Yes.
gonna start it off with a free flow poem.
Uh, Now, how can people get it? How can we purchase your book?
You probably asking how can
Am-
you get the book? You have froze for a second.
Oh,
Amazon,
okay.
in the trunk of my car.
Hey, listen,
Right,
listen.
right,
We all doing it out the
right.
trunk of the car. It's fine,
Hello.
girl.
I
Listen,
love the
the
hustle. I
trunk,
love the
the
hustle.
bag, in the
Yes.
McDonald's
Listen.
drive-through,
Right.
wherever.
Listen.
Whatever.
I
I
love
will
the
ship
hustle.
it to
Absolutely.
you. If you in
Listen,
Texas, I'll meet you halfway.
Right,
Like,
right, right. I love
right,
it. I love it.
right,
Awesome.
absolutely. Um, is there any more books in the works?
yes, I'm working on part two to my first book. My first book was Should Have Just Killed Me. And
Okay.
so I'm working on part two
Mm,
for that. I actually
You
started
said that
writing part. Hmm?
you said it was called because somebody asked to list the name of the book. So
Oh,
could you say the name again in Lyrica? Can you put it in the feed, please?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's the name of your book again?
I think I put it
Oh,
in the chat.
I
Well, see,
okay.
you're
I
doing it in the
Should
chat.
have killed me.
You did it in the private chat.
That's okay.
Lyrica can put it.
I got
Oh,
her.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
got
got
it.
her.
I'm new to this. I'm
No,
new to
you're
this,
fine,
so
honey.
I ain't.
We got you. I got you covered.
Girl, we got you.
So before somebody said free flow have the strength and courage to put these feelings in a book. That is a miracle in itself. The healing process
Yes.
begins with you. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Miss Day. Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
She said yes, waiting for part two. They
I
waiting on part two, girl.
they've been waiting a long time. You know, like I put my first book out in 2013, and
Okay.
just with everything that happened with my divorce, and then I lost my dad in 2018, and I was going through all
Mm,
these motions of, and I'm not discounting any other writers out
right.
there, but there is not enough spotlight on writers like us who we are really like,
Correct.
we better than them. A lot of them. Like we should be, our writing should be in more places than it is,
Yeah.
because we're not just one thing. Like I could write about anything and I'm gonna put my all into it. I'm not just gonna write about hood chicks and designer bags. Like, and
Mhm.
nothing's wrong with that, but for me at the time it was a depression, because it added to my depression, because I
Right.
knew that I had this gift, and I knew that my gift was unique because I was not
Yeah.
like other writers, but
Right.
nobody's supporting me. And so I stopped. I just put the pen down. But that also felt like it was killing me more, because it's even tattooed on my back. Writing is life. Like writing is
Mm.
like breathing for me.
Yes.
And
I'm
but
gonna
I
tell you
stopped
something.
because of the
No,
support.
let me. I'm gonna tell you something because I made a post today that we gotta be our biggest supporter and our biggest fan. I posted that today on my page. Don't ever, and I understand that at that moment you might have didn't have nobody that poured into you. You might have didn't have nobody that supported you the way you needed to. But when you continue to put out what you're putting, you continue to hustle what you hustling, the support will come. God is walking with you. Continue to speak. Just because they didn't show you they was listening, they was watching anyway, and they was watching and listening. So that you need to continue to speak, continue to write, and continue to put out, because
Yeah.
the one people that we think is not listening, they actually watching you, and they watching. Because like I've learned, because at first I was in that same mindset, and you'll be like, oh well, I might have didn't sold no books this month, or for the last 3 months I didn't sell any books, or I didn't have the support. But what I need you to do is continue to push whatever the messages that God is giving you to deliver,
That's
because
right.
there are people that are waiting to hear your story. They are
Mhm.
waiting to hear that message that you have to deliver. Your
Yeah.
testimony is a story for somebody that needs to hear your powerful words. So don't ever let that somebody's not supporting you be the reason why you don't write. That was Satan that stopped you, because
Yeah.
he knew the power that you had in your book. So
Yes.
don't ever stop because of someone not supporting you, because the people that are supporting you might be somewhere else, and you got to just continue to be relevant, continue to appear, continue to talk, continue to press, because God has a mission for you, and he has
Yeah.
a deliverance for you, and he has the whole crowd and the stage waiting on you. You got to continue to work,
Exactly.
continue
That's
to
where
fight.
I'm at now. I'm not stopping. I'm gonna keep
Yeah,
writing. I'm gonna keep doing whatever I'm supposed to do. And I
absolutely.
actually been talking to, I don't know if it was the bookstore that I'm connected with that led me to you, or if your group led me to them, but some kind of way I got connected with a bookstore that's opening
Um,
in Houston.
in Texas or Mississippi?
Yes,
In Texas?
Texas.
Texas.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's kid. Yeah, I'm in that bookstore, and you probably see me
Okay.
post about her. And she does like my book is in Texas as well. So yeah, it's KRC Bookstore.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Actually, I love her bookstore. I have sold. I think I sent 5 books. I've sold 3 of them. I'm about to restock and send 5 more. So girl, yes, it's worth it. She puts
and
it out there. You get yep, it's worth it.
Man.
and she gave me some advice. And she was saying that, sometimes, like, even when you're not getting the support, she was saying she gave away a lot of her books. Like, hey, read
Yeah.
my book. And I'm like, okay, I spent money to get these printed, but
Hmm.
I also don't mind giving them away if that's what I have to do to get out there and it just reap the benefits later. Like, I don't mind giving them out. I just want people to read all of my work and
Hmm.
be inspired, and just,
Absolutely.
not just entertained. Like, there's a message in
Right.
everything.
Hmm.
Exactly. And Sheena is absolutely right in what she's saying. So me personally, I started off in 2014 to really pursue spoken word poetry. 2014. It's what? 20 what year is it, y'all?
20,
2021?
2021.
Everyone.
2021.
Yo, 2021, 7 years. I've been working 7 years to literally get to where I am right now. Like 7 whole years. I thought, okay, God, in a year we got this. God was like, no.
Yep.
Nope.
He like,
You
nope,
still
Be in the
gotta
not
process
yet.
some things.
magazine,
Yes.
bestseller list, all that
Exactly.
stuff.
So it's a process. And when I was doing my video shoot, and I had to give a little speech to the crew, the film crew, the actresses, and everybody else that was on set. Like I was like trying not to cry because the girl had did such a bomb job on my makeup. I was like, oh, I gotta hold this. I gotta keep this. But I was in tears because I was like, yo, I've been working 7 years to get just to this moment. And this is not even anything really. Like this is just the beginning. But I've been working 7 years to get here. So but there's a reason, like you said. I love what you said. I'm not here just writing about designer bags and
Mhm.
whatever. Like what I have to
Right,
say is life. It's life
right.
altering. It's life transforming. But that's why. And just like going back to what Sheena says, that's why you got to push because there's an audience for you. God has people lined up for you. It may not happen right now. It may not happen next month. It may not happen in 6 months. But eventually, God will align. He says, the steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. You keep stepping, and God will order them. God will direct them. So you keep going, girl.
I will. Thank
I'm
you.
I'm telling you because like I'm not listen, I'm not selling $1 million. I'm not selling 1 million books, but I have people in my inboxes that telling me what my book did for them.
There
That I
you
have
go.
people in my email telling me, "Oh my God, thank you for writing or saying what you said, or thank you for doing what you're doing." So sometimes it's not about the monetary gift, it's about the message that people are getting when you're speaking, when they're reading, when they see it, when they hear it. And
Yes.
sometimes it's by word of mouth. So you're on this now. So there could be somebody out there that's listening to the story and say, "Oh, I might need to go get her book." And then from there, it's somebody else that said, "Oh, well, you might need to go read that book." And it's all about networking and connections
Mhm.
because you would think me and Lyrica knew each other for years, right? You thought
I
that was my
thought
bestie for years.
y'all.
What? It's been a year, sis. It's
Yeah.
been about a
Wow.
year. It's been about
If
a year.
that. If that.
If
Right.
that. I'm about to say if that. And mind you, I met her on a platform, which is my sister Pam Edwards that's in the
Whoop
building. She
whoop.
does
Pam.
Hey,
unapologetically free in the
Pam.
building. Hi, Pam.
Yes.
My
We love
sister.
you.
We love you. And with that platform, we do that every 3 months to where we give
Yeah.
people a chance to tell their story and be a chance to be free unapologetically. And I
Yes.
met Lyrica by her doing poetry and I was speaking. And from
Mhm.
there, it was just the bond that was created.
Yeah.
And now, like I said, when you see us and you see me and Pam or me and Angela and me and Andre, you'll think we've been friends for years.
Forever.
But it
Mhm.
was it was a blessing that God put us all together. And
Yes.
now we create a platform to where we allow people to come and be unapologetically free. And then there'd be like a service. So everybody know the next one is September. So y'all need to come.
September.
No, yeah. I'm like, is it September?
September.
But yes,
It's
because the last one
September.
we had in June.
Pam.
So it's September.
Right.
Yep.
Pam. What date? September what, Pam?
Pam, September what? What date is it, Pam? So we can let people know to come on through. And it's free.
And it's free. Unapologetically.
Unapologetically.
I'm on fire, girl. I'm on fire tonight, girl.
She
Oh,
said
it's the third
the
Thursday.
Thursday in
Okay, we got you.
September. So whatever the third Thursday is,
We're
that's what
gonna
it
get it.
is.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm in September. Hold on. Uh
Yeah.
the 16th.
So
That's the
September
third Thursday.
16th is unapologetically free platform where we do a Zoom and you come through and you just come and get blessed. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, you might be my speaker, just to let you know. I'm putting it out there on blast right now. But but before we get off here, and I know it's 9 o'clock, but I need you to tell them what happened between you and your husband before we leave.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
need them to hear that testimony of what happened between you and your husband before we get off of here because they need to hear that. They need to hear what
um,
happened in the midst of that storm. We gotta bless him right quick with that. Yeah, I know I caught you off guard with
Crash
that, but
course.
let back behind the book. We gonna go back to what
Okay.
happened with the husband.
Oh, okay. Crash course. We got together. He was manipulative. Didn't really see it at first because I mean I was 18, 19, so I'm still clubbing. And once again, I'm tired of the club now. I'm 21, but he's 7 or 8 years older than me. And so when I was like, I'm tired of the club thing and you should be too. But he was like, you supposed to
Right.
be the party girl. Like, you want me to go back to popping X pills when I told you that like that was something that was addictive for me. But
Mhm.
I did it because I'm trying to please my husband and I'm trying to let him lead. And it's like the more I try to think for myself, the more I'm being told God is not going to tell you to go against your husband. God is not going to tell you to
Mm.
leave your husband. And so that's when he started getting abusive. And it wasn't even physical at first. It was more so verbal or like a push to the forehead.
Mm.
I think the first time he actually like really got aggressive, I was pregnant with my son and
Mm,
he was jealous, but I thought the attention was okay. He loved me so much. That's why he getting jealous about these dudes and stuff. But when it was on the flip side, like you hugging on this girl in front of me, and that's embarrassing. And I'm 4 months pregnant, and you got me in the air and you choking me
mm.
in front of some of your family, and ain't nobody doing nothing.
Everybody
Mm.
just watching.
Yeah.
Wow.
And after that, it was slaps here, slaps there, just screaming in my face, punches, and I think around the time it got to maybe 2011, 12, I was kind of done, but I was still afraid to leave. And one night in the bed, I heard a voice, and it was the Holy Spirit. And it
Mhm.
was like, if you don't leave this man, you are going to die. And
Mm.
Mm,
so that
Wow.
day, I packed up everything. I left. I stayed with my cousin for a while, but I'm listening to other people. My
right,
whole life, I'm allowing other people to tell me what I should be feeling, what I should be thinking.
right.
God ain't gonna tell you to leave your husband. And I'm looking at him. He's so sad. He's so
Mm-hmm.
heartbroken from me leaving. Um, and so I went back because I'm feeling sorry for him. He threatened to kill himself if I divorced him and all this other stuff. So I went back and I ended up talking to one of my exes on Facebook, and it wasn't even like a dating type thing, but he found out, and next thing you know, we outside, neighbors outside, everything. Everybody's watching this man drag me up and down the street, up and
Wow.
down the driveway. He's throwing me up against the house. He got the shotgun. He blew a big hole in the trash can. Then he put the
Mm.
gun in my head and he pulled the trigger, but it jammed.
Wow.
Jesus.
The whole time my son was maybe 4 at the time. So he's listening to this. He's seeing all this, and I was just pleading with him. I'm like, look, please, I'm not gonna leave you. I'm gonna stay. Just just stop. I promise I'm not gonna leave. And so while he was kind of trying to listen to me, I was typing on my phone, typed my address on Facebook, and I'm like, somebody send the police here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who did, but they came, and I beat myself up over this so much. I did not tell the police about the gun. I just
Oh
wanted
God.
him gone.
They're gone.
Mm.
And he left. I left, and you know, somehow I had convinced myself that I deserved it because he found out that I was conversating with one of my exes on Facebook. So I went back and ended up pregnant with my daughter. And that was probably the worst year of my life
Mm.
because I'm pregnant with my daughter. He is doing more psychological abuse, screaming in my ear while I'm trying to sleep.
Mm,
Wow.
He poured a bag of garbage on my head.
mm,
He poured a bucket of water on my face several times while I'm sleeping. And so just that right there, even now, I cannot sleep well when there's a whole lot of noise. I can't
Yeah.
sleep with a door open. Like I'm still like God is gonna heal me.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Absolutely.
It's rough, and
Yeah.
a few months after that, I'm planning like how do I get away from this man because
Right.
in my mind, wherever I go, he's gonna follow me, and I'm gonna be dead. So I was telling Sheena that I was having bad toothaches, and so I know I wasn't supposed to be taking BC powders, but I did. And
Mhm.
one night I opened my BC powder, and he started laughing because he saw the look on my face. I saw like little sparkly stuff in it, and so he was like, "Oh, you just now finding out I've been doing that?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so he had just strategically opened every BC in my BC powder pack for I don't know how many months. And later on, I found out that he was crushing up Ambien, Percocet, Loratab, Xanax, all this stuff, and just sprinkling a little bit in each BC powder so that I thought I was pregnancy tired, but I would just pass out
Wow.
every night. And next thing you know, I'm waking up in the morning, my account is overdrawn, no gas in my car. Um,
My God.
Sexually, like I was not like attracted to him at all. And so even while I'm passed out, he's taking advantage of me sexually. And people are like, well, your husband can't rape you. Yes, he can. Like I
Yes,
didn't
he
want
can. If you didn't say yeah, that's right.
I
Exactly.
said no, and he decided to drug me to do what he wanted. And
Mm.
Wow.
also during this time, he was doing all these different pills and all that. So the abuse that was going on, it multiplied times 100 because now you have these drugs in your system and you acting crazier than ever.
Right.
And the day that I left, it was actually our 10-year anniversary. And that was the day I was done because he was screaming and he ended up throwing a cell phone at my face. Now,
Mm.
by this time, I had my daughter, and
Mhm.
the phone actually hit her while I was
Oh
breastfeeding.
no.
Oh, no.
Oh
And
no.
so I was like, "Oh hell no!" I'm
Right.
like, "That's it." And so I was done with that. I divorced him, got full custody of my kids because I'm like, I don't even trust you. Like if you're gonna see them, then it's gonna be somebody gonna be watching, or
Right.
I'm gonna be there. I don't care if you are their father. Like no,
Yes.
just getting out of that. And I moved maybe 7 times in a year and a half because I moved and one place had rats, and then I moved somewhere else and this one had roaches and other stuff, and then I moved somewhere else and mentally I can't sleep because I'm still in Baton Rouge, so he could find me, so let me move somewhere
Right.
else. And I finally ended up in Hammond, Louisiana before I moved here to Texas. And um, I've been in Texas since 2017, and I have not heard from him since 2016. He would, my daughter, she's gonna be 8 this year, and the only reason she knows who her dad is because if we show her a picture, we have to like explain every time. She doesn't
Yeah.
remember. Now, my son, my oldest, he knows. He had a lot of conflicting things, just seeing all that, loving
Yeah.
his
Mhm.
dad, not knowing how to feel, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
not even knowing that he remembered this stuff. I'm thinking he was
Right.
4, he don't remember none of that. And next thing you know, he's 9 saying in the middle of nowhere, Mama, you remember that gun was at your head? And I'm like, oh
Wow.
my God.
Mm.
Right.
And my ex-husband even tried to manipulate him, and I
Mm.
was like, no. He knew that my son loved him like a lot. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I used to feel like he loved his dad more than me. And he would call every few months. This is before 2016, like right after I left. And he would tell him, oh, I'm gonna have this and I'm gonna have that, and you could come live with me. Oh, if you act up, then your mama gonna send you to come live with me. And then we're gonna have this
Manipulation.
great life. And then he don't hear from you. And I'm like, look,
Yeah.
you will not manipulate my baby like that. And do not call back until you are ready to be consistent
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
healthy, and that I haven't heard from him since. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I hate that my kids don't have a dad. But I used to think, oh, a piece of a dad is better than no dad at all. No, like
Mhm.
I had to get my son in counseling
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
all the stuff I had allowed him to see, and no matter what happened to me in life, no matter what I did after the things that happened to me, I had to face the fact like I thought I was punishing myself. Like I felt like this is my punishment for being promiscuous instead of doing the right thing. This is my punishment for doing the drugs. This
Mm.
is my punishment for this. So I have to deal with this abuse
Mm.
because people that love you abuse you. No,
Mm.
no.
No.
Mhm. Absolutely not.
And at this point, like I hate that I realized that after I had two more children, but
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, when I was younger, I didn't want kids like at all.
Gotcha.
But had I not had kids, there would have been another suicide attempt and it would have been effective.
Mm.
Gotcha.
So God knew what
Yeah.
I needed.
Yeah.
And I had to realize the pattern of abusive relationships. And my 3-year old and his dad and I, we were actually friends, and he was abusive. And I'm just like, look, you got to get it right. Like I'm glad that I have it now, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Mhm.
wish I had gotten it sooner as well. But hopefully my story can help somebody else get it together.
Yeah. That's right.
Um,
Amen.
Absolutely.
because the choices affect the kids, and
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
my kids deserve a mentally healthy mother that can provide everything that they deserve and then some.
Mhm.
And like even with my ex-husband, I don't hate him. Like
Mm-hmm.
after I left, he ended up being abused by somebody. I wasn't like, yeah, Negro, that's what you get. No, I'm like,
Right.
dude, I don't care what you did to me.
Yeah.
Nobody deserves to be abused. Like
That's
that's the
right.
Right.
person I am. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, get your karma. Yes, you will
Right.
receive karma, but
Mm-hmm.
I show grace to everyone
Yes.
Right.
except myself.
Absolutely.
But I'm learning to.
Right.
You're
Right.
supposed to, and you need
I
to, because self-love, self-worth, and self-knowledge is first and foremost.
Yes.
Yeah. And I always put that last, but now I get it, and just working on continuing to be better and giving my kids what they need and making sure this is a safe place for them, making sure they know that they could talk to me about anything, talking to them about things that they need to know so they don't learn it when they get to these schools, because kids these days are 1,000 times worse than when we were kids. Like the conversations that they have, oh my goodness. um and like
Topics
you
are
said,
interesting.
yes, self-love, like
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now, just
Amen.
loving myself, all my
Yes.
flaws,
Yes.
everything, and knowing that had I not gone through every single thing that I went through, I would not be who I am today. I would not be the type of mom that I am today. Um, all the people that are judging that haven't gone through anything, they still lost. They still don't get it. So I would much rather have gone through hell and survived and be able to tell other people what I've gone through than to be feeling like I've gone through nothing and I'm lost and I'm just out here talking ignorant.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'm gonna say I'm
Wow.
happy that you're awake and that you acknowledge what's going on and you understand that there's a reasons why certain people are drawn to you, and you understand the work that you have to do to be in a better space and be a healthier mom and to understand truly who you are within behind your mask.
I'm in
I'm
the middle
telling
of a
you,
broadcast.
just keep doing the work. Continue to focus on you, because if you're good, your kids are good. And then you're
yes,
able to teach them how to better their journey and give them the tools and put it in the toolbox. So just keep going,
Amen.
keep pressing, keep pressing.
Amen.
So before we get out of here, because we a little 15 minutes out of time, and I know that's probably why somebody came in your door. But can you tell them how to follow you and where to find your book again for the people that may be latecomers or watching it later? And then after that, we'll get on out of here.
I'm on Facebook, Florencia, author Flo Freeman, and Instagram, I_am_free_flow. And my books are on Amazon and my trunk, which I ship.
Yes,
And at this
honey.
point, I am taking the wisdom that was given to me. I do not mind giving the books away. So if you can inbox me your address, let me see. I'll say up to 10 people. Inbox me your address. I'll cover the shipping.
Y'all
And
hear
I'll
that? 10 people. Only 10. We ain't doing no more than that. 10 people.
Or 10. Let's go.
You actually got an order. So, my sister Pam, she said she want 4. So
okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna
nice.
connect her with you, and then I got you. I'm gonna send her your information so she can hit you up. Pam, I got you. She'll take 4. See, I got you. I'm telling you,
Yes.
I got you over
So
here.
just inbox me your address and I'll ship it out to you this week.
A
Either
Frederick
tomorrow
too.
or Thursday. Tomorrow or Thursday. I see Frederick said
Yes,
me.
him
Yeah,
too.
I'll send him your
Um,
info.
okay.
I got
Thank
you.
you.
I
No
listen.
problem.
This is what we here for. This is what Victory of the Minds is about.
Yes.
The fact is that you get to tell your story, you get to express what's going on, and people get to see the message, so then they can take the wisdom that you're giving through your books and your words and your message to then heal through their process as well. You got Coco said me too. All of
And
y'all,
that's
I'm gonna
my
say all y'all her
nickname.
information so y'all can inbox her and y'all can have a conversation. I got
What's your
y'all.
What's your Facebook again? I'm trying to type it in real
Yeah.
quick.
Oh,
Valencia Free
Florencia
Flow. Uh-huh.
Freeman.
Oh, see, all jacked up. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You found it?
Oh, you said Florencia. I can't
Florencia.
even talk. Freeman. Is you on Facebook, right?
Yeah, she on
Yes.
Facebook.
Okay.
You want me
Okay.
to?
I got it. I got it.
You
I
got
Sorry.
it. All right.
requested you as a friend, so just look in
Copy.
your
Oh,
friend request.
I already responded. I'm saying for everybody
Oh,
else out
For
here, girl,
everybody else.
I'm on it. I'm
uh,
on it.
Florencia.
Okay, I got it. I got it.
So, everybody, we thank you for tuning in. We are so honored for everybody that was here. Please like,
Yes.
share, comment, give her some hearts, inbox her, buy her book, support her. How
Yes.
many kids you say you got again?
4.
She got 4 kids, so everybody need to be buying 4 per kid. I'm just playing, but please
No, for that
support me.
No,
3-year-old,
we're not
for that
playing. We're not playing.
3-year-old,
No, we serious, but I'm playing, but I'm serious.
you
But
don't
we need y'all
understand
to
that
support.
3-year-old
Like,
is 4
listen,
kids by
I get
himself.
it.
Right.
Listen, I get it.
Right.
But we will be back next week, Tuesday, on Testimony Tuesday. If anybody out there that wants to be able to tell their testimony
Hmm.
and give blessings to other people and heal through the message, we're here. Inbox us on Victory of the Minds. Inbox us on my page, which is Sheena Author, or my Sheena Gadine author page, on Lyrica's 7 page, or my email is sgadine, which is SGOURDINE 16 at gmail.com. And Lyrica, can you give them your email as well so that they might hit you up
Sure.
if they want to be on the
Hmm.
show?
It's lyrical, lyrical, the number 7_. And that's on Instagram, or lyrical7 spelled out SEVEN on Facebook, or Tanya TONYA at lyrical7 the number 7.com.
Guys, we love you. We thank the support that we had tonight. Please continue to support us. Please tell your
Yes,
friends to come on through no, 3 Tuesdays out of my. I'm about to say
you're
every
right.
Tuesday, but 3 because we gotta take a break at least one
We need
Tuesday.
that break.
Listen, this made me heavy. Listen, we gotta take a break. But 3 Tuesdays out of the month, we come through. We bless y'all because somebody needs to hear this story.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to hear this message. We've all been through something, and it's somebody that can use the things that are coming and know that your past doesn't define you. You don't have
Yes.
to stay there. You can be greater than whatever you've been through because we've all walked a path and it's not your final destination. You are strong and victorious through everything that you've been through, and you have a message, and only you can tell that story. So I thank y'all. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Free Flo, I love you. I thank you for
Yes, we love you,
look.
I
girl.
love
I thank
y'all
you for coming on
too.
to another one of my show,
Thank
guys.
you
Yeah.
for having me.
No problem. Tomorrow, I do have to announce this. Tomorrow, it will be Let Loose and Be Free, starting at 7. Please come through. It's on my YouTube channel. Listen, there's more
Woo!
stories. I have 3 guests tomorrow, so please come through. Check out the story. Share my YouTube. Listen, it's some power and impact in all these stories that are delivering. It's somebody that
Yes.
need to be delivered from whatever they're going through. Continue to share your message. Continue to listen to the message. Continue to be free unapologetically.
Yep.
And we love y'all
Unapologetically.
unapologetically. I'm telling
Go
y'all, September.
Pam.
Don't
And
forget.
one
Go
more
Pam.
thing.
Go ahead, honey.
One more thing I wanted to say, and is just with my name and how everything falls into place. Florencia Freeman and Free Flo Freeman Florencia, and just I have a free flow when I write, and now
Mhm.
I am freeing flow,
Yes.
and so
Say
I'm
it,
just
girl.
I love it.
I know
We
that's
free
small,
and
but
flow.
to me it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
Listen,
yeah,
we
yeah.
free and flow. Hey, we free and flow.
Yes. Yes, I love it. I
Yes,
love your
but I
name.
love it.
Yes,
We love it.
absolutely.
And unapologetically free, you free and flow. There you go. Let loose and be free.
I
See,
love
everything got
love
that
it.
free in it. Free,
and
free,
if
free.
anybody doesn't like it, then you take that up with God, because
Amen. Tell them again. But guys, tomorrow, 7 o'clock, please meet
Seven
me on my
o'clock.
YouTube channel, Lady Behind the Mask channel. If you don't know, go on my page. I'll put it up there so y'all can make sure y'all follow the page. But we will be here tomorrow. And next Tuesday, we'll be back. I love
All
y'all. And
right.
y'all have a great night.
bye, y'all.
I am she that knows that love I deserve. As people, we put walls up because we are afraid of getting hurt. As people, we put our hearts on ice because we've been hurt by our past. Not necessarily always a relationship of love. It's been a family member, a friend, or just being disappointed by life, period. I am she that went on dates alone.